There are many deep connections within the Albion for the large region that was known as the Albion, which really means the heart of the world. And in today's video, I'm going to uncover another layer as to why Albion is rich with the beautiful emerald energy of the Sacred Heart. And we will uncover the truth around the invasion and the hijacking of Ireland, the horrific things still afoot today, where you see it's full of distortions, and basically what has happened is the cosmic mother energy has been inverted. And there's a deep connection into the architecture of this energetic being that we call Earth, and so much more. And so we're going to go into the eternal now, into the primordial original creation mystical truths. This is where the original creation magic resides. So here within today, we will travel to the primordial times and into a root race of beings here in this realm before they were hijacked in Ireland and more. So let's step into the realm of sacred knowing. You can close your eyes for a moment. Imagine that we're gathering around the eternal flames of the sacred fire once again, so that we can bask in its radiant glow, for it illuminates not only the night sky, but also our souls. And in this enchanted space, we are transported to primordial times, where tales of wonder and magic were woven into the very fabric of existence, and the warmth of the fire caresses our spirits, beckoning us to share stories of our journeys and quests. So hello, I have so much coming through that I've had actually a hard time figuring out how to organize it all into something that makes sense. I mean, I have so many things, topics that just keep flooding in, and so here we are. And if you're new to my channel, welcome and hello. If you're returning, thank you for being here with me again. And I'm an oracle of original creation, a primordial wisdom story keeper, and a vibration medicine guide. So I do sacred soul healing through the practices of the root cause protocol, and I'm training as a master herbalist as well. So we get into a lot of topics here. Today, I look forward to diving into actually my ancestry as well, and where many incarnations for me were spent, and many memories come from this region that we're going to dive into, which is the Albion. We're going to look deeply at Ireland as part of the Albion. Now, I actually have a 2-part series on the Albion here. If you want to learn more about that region, please check that out. In the eightfold sun calendar, there are 8 organic holy days that were once very sacred. And this became the wheel of the year as gifted by the Celtic Druids and the pre-Celtic ancestors. And we just celebrated Beltane, as said in Irish, or also it's known as Beltane. Now, in uncovering of the organic and original creation energies of Beltane, I was able to receive a whole lot of insights as to the truth around what happened in the Albion. And in this information today, we're going to be looking specifically at Ireland. So we're going to begin with the foundation of the goddess that was known as Eru. E-R-I-U, Eru. In fact, the English name for Ireland comes from the name Eru and the Germanic Old Norse or Old English word land. And that the name of Ireland in Irish is, and I hope I say this right, Ira. There's a lot of stories, myths, and legends. And there's a lot of things that try to connect goddess Eru with the Tua de Danann, that has also been called the tribe of Danu. Yet, here's what we're going to uncover. This is the inversion and a distortion, and I'm going to share why. So even when you look at Wikipedia, of all places, talk about untruths, but it says the Tua de Danann also goes by an earlier name of Tua de. Interesting. So why did the name change? Why did that happen? These are the questions that we must ask. We need to get to the truth, and asking questions is how. So to get that, we must know about this being that has been called Danu, a so-called goddess, and is why this root race and group of beings had a name change. So if you read things on the internet land and you just take it for face value, you're going to get a whole lot of untruths around all of this, and you'll get things like this in relation to Danu. Often what's said about Danu is that it's the primal mother goddess and is associated with the world tree of life. You'll even see the supposed goddess associated with primordial and sacred waters of life or creation. And so you'll see a lot of images like this that come up with the search. And I'd really like to call out the moon behind this image because this actually does have significance. So Danu is connected and expressed as usually the progenitor of this root race of beings found in Ireland, and then kind of spanned out from there. But the further we get into original creation, origin truths, what we know is that this isn't true. An inversion, and in fact, it was an invasion. The true and real Druid lineages that came later, the true and real pagans that lived in harmony with the land and all beings. There was an entire genocidal plan that happened to actually take out the beautiful root race that was of Eru, the true primal mother goddess. So the Celtic massacres and the genocide of the real Druid lineages began tens of thousands of years ago, over 20,000 years ago in our linear time. So the invaders that I'm talking about here in a moment, that I'll talk about more, and their genocidal agenda to eradicate the true Christos, truths that came from the higher consciousness time of Atlantis, they had one intention: destroy, destroy, destroy. And so in my discoveries, I uncovered great insights and proof that this is so, that there was an invasion. So there is actually a book. It's called the Book of Invasions, or it's also called the Book of Taking of Ireland. And it's really not the name of a big book per se, but it's an origin legend of the people of Ireland that exists in many versions, in poetry and prose. And so the origins of the tradition of Ireland and many components of this can be traced supposedly back to the 7th century Common Era, although there's earlier surviving manuscripts that are actually much later. And in my unearthing of these truths, this is much more primordial wisdom than even the 7th century. And of course, we have some resources linked below. Now, what I've discerned and brought through around this Book of Invasions of Ireland is that this holds many truths, and there are also many rewritings of this. And what has been captured in that is that Danann, or Danu, were said to have arrived by flying ships in dark clouds that landed on Iron Mountain in the county of Leitrim in Ireland. The time frame of this goes back tens of thousands of years. I say we need to think about this as the time frame from over 20,000 years ago, when the true Druid lineage had started to become eradicated. So we're connecting these into, again, more of these origin truths. These beings that came from flying ships in dark clouds are hijackers. These are the vile beings that I talk about consistently in many videos, and I'm talking about again today, because this is just part of this true our story origin that we need to know. So this faction came to hijack the root race of beings that had stemmed from the true primal mother, spiritual mother, Eru, and that's why Ireland is known as Ira. That's how you say Ireland in Irish. So there is the true Tua, and we have to take out the Dedaran part. What happened was there was forced hybridization. The Tua stem from the original Celtic Druid Magick lineages. But due to forced coercion, they became known as the Tua de Danann, and this means children of the goddess Danu. But Danu is the corruption story of Ireland's takeover. And there was a truly forced hybridization of the invading race. In other words, let's put it this way, into the truth. Raping, pillaging. That's what pirates do. That is what these hijacking, otherworldly beings do. The Tua de Danann, that what had become known as that, is a product of the subsequent hybridization. And when you really dig into that ancient Irish book of invasions, there are many scenes of war and violence. So when we look at the true Irish mythology, Éowrú is a sovereign triple solar goddess and is known as the protector of Ireland. This is the correct interpretation as the mother goddess personification of Ireland. So Éowrú is the true spiritual mother of the original Tua that stemmed then into the Celtic Druid Magick Grail lines. But let's get into this a little deeper. So who or what is Éowrú? Éowrú is a primordial, or we could say ancient, spiritual mother of the original Tua root race of beings. And what is often mentioned in looking at Irish mythos is that this is a very similar vibe. I would say when you really think about what the scenes and images portray is what we've seen in the Lord of the Rings, the elven race. This root race of beings were descendants of the origin Hyperboreans. Now, Hyperboreans are often called mythical. They're not mythical. They were real. They were an actual race of beings known to be in the high north that dwelled beyond the Boreas, the Hyperboreas, which means beyond the north wind. So this is the first root race. And I found this amazing, lovely graphic to help show this. And of course, again, we have some sources, but we have the root races, and you can take a look at how this all really came through. And this is beautiful. This is actually one of the first times I've seen something that really brings it to life in a really easy way. So the Hyperboreans, the first root race, what they learned is how to place their consciousness into future DNA that would be birthed. And so this is the consciousness, or this is the DNA, the multi-dimensional DNA embodied within the Celtic Druid Magick Grail lines of the 11th and 12th Essene tribes, because these root races were placed near the stargates, the 11th and 12th stargates, which is where? Albion, both of those. The reason that the root races and being placed near stargates, the reason I've had this come through is because Brigid, the Celtic goddess, holds that wisdom, because actually Brigid was involved in that, actually making that, engineering that, and making that come to light. So this whole tribe of Danu is a much later distortion of the true account of what happened. All of that stolen material was issued, and there began the makings of what we have seen that has risen is the Emerald Tablet, which I'll get into in a future episode. There is an original Tua, and they are not attributed to Danu or to any kind of fallen angels, because that's often what you will find in internet land as well. So all of this is total bullshit created by the hijackers. Now, the true Tua are the descendants of the same lineage that many of you watching and myself are connected to, the lineage of the mother of dragons that came from the creator worlds, or we could say the god realms worlds. And many of you probably hold the same memories. What we've seen and what we know and what we're holding because of the Sacred Heart within us, as connected into the true Emerald Crystal Sacred Heart, is that we're connected to Tiamat, the now cosmic mother of dragons, as Tiamat has reclaimed that position. Now, I connected into the blue dragon, Tiamat energy, the planetary being in Albion, actually at Aveburyhenge in England in October of 2023. It was a soul pilgrimage. I had to go, and this is why. There was more to that story, which I have some videos on here if you want to hear more, but there are many of us that are Christos starseeds and Celtic Magick Grail lineage. We are of that lineage, and we have had lifetimes with that Eden blueprint of Tiamat, because Tiamat is a planetary higher consciousness, a logos, and that's connected into the Terra timeline. So we were in the timeline of Terra. This is all relevant because this Eden blueprint was hidden where? Yes, in Ireland. This is why those of us are being called into the Albion again, or all of you that are there already, you are hearing the songs coming from the Emerald Sacred Heart of Ireland, the Emerald Crystal Heart, I should say, of Ira. And so I have felt into this Emerald Crystal Heart. Mine burst open 4 years ago. And the beautiful thing is that the true and real Tua left messages for the Celtic Druids of Ireland. The real ones, the true ones, not the hijacked versions that came later after the hijacking. All of the true Druids were eradicated. And then this hijacking race took over. And that is what you see. That is the stemming of evil. That's a whole other story. But I do have another video on this channel called the Druidic Wisdom that shares some of that. But there's so much more of a bigger story there. And these are things that it's just so much. So I'm piecing it together piece by piece. Honestly, it's a book. That's what it is, isn't it? So the Tua, the original and true Tua, not Dedanan, the Tua, Eru of Air, left messages for the Celtic Druids. And what they were doing, it was recording their spiritual knowledge and wisdom into the land, the circular ditches, the mounds, standing stones. They helped build those specifically with purpose. Again, these are the pieces of sacred wisdom that many of us know and carry in our DNA. This is the Hyperborean wisdom from what we could say is the past, but it's also the future, because really we are dealing with the eternal now, as we well know. So in Ireland, there is the Hill of Tara. Now, this is or was very, very sacred area in Ireland. And I've actually connected with the Celtic Druid Temple, which is near here. And they have kept the oral wisdom of true Celtic Druid wisdom, honest and pure, and they're beautiful beings. And so the Hill of Tara was the residence of the Magick Grail kings, who are not kings of tyranny. We have to totally erase what we think kings are. It's kings and queens were about protecting the architecture of this energetic being, which is a technology, which is Earth. It is the planetary grid. This is why kings and queens had a sacred union and marriage to the land, because they know it's not really just land. So it was a spiritual kingship, and this area in Ireland served as a link between the other world, other realms, and humans in this realm. So the true benevolent Magick Grail kings were guardians of the sovereignty, along with the goddess consciousness and the goddess Eru in the land itself. In Irish mythology, the Ishnach is described as the sacred center of Ireland. It's been known as a burial place of Irish gods such as Lugh and Dagda, and also a site of a sacred tree. So it's been known as a place of assembly connected to the original and real, not the hijacked version, original and real Celtic Druids, which, according to later tradition, was held during the festival of Beltane or Beltane. This is how I connected this all. But in this picture, this is the stone of divisions and is described as the navel of Ireland. So it's a meeting place. See, this is the energetic component here. Meeting place between the earth and otherworld, and is a source of creation. So it's said to have marked the meeting point of the provinces, and also has been called the heart chakra of Ireland. Oh, but more than that, this is energetically the codes of the true spiritual mother, Eru, where the sacred emerald heart is connected to. The original and true Tua, you see, were part of the Guardian founders, the Emerald founders, trying to help repair the grid architecture in the landmass of Ireland, because there has been so many wars for eons over what we could say is the angelic creation that we humans are, and all of living creation here is. This is the wisdom that the true and real Druids held as well. They were not the Tua, the original Tua, the Druids, the true ones, the pre-hijacking, pre-genocide, were not warring, horrid people that you hear about. The warring, horrid factions, those that actually created a satanic hold on this world, are the invaders. They were supported with lies spread by where the evil hides, which is in the Church of Rome, Catholic Church, the violent religions that spread the alien invader narrative to take over this planet. So instead, we need to submit a new image of the original creation and truth of the Tua. And so the vision that we can hold is solar light beings connected deeply into sacred sites, working to restoring codes of Avalon, working to restore aspects of the Emerald Order, and this planet restoring it to origin in the pre-fall condition. This is what we've all been told, that story of Garden of Eden. So the true goddess known as Eru sources from the Emerald Order. And these ancient builder and founder races built the highly, extremely advanced technology that is held within the Albion and is connected to stargates and crystal and aurora passageways that once were and are actually being opened again, which I'll have a video coming out on soon. Eru is a beautiful embodiment that comes from the true creator realms, the god worlds, and the cosmic mother of dragon spiritual essence. Many of you may be carrying the musical tones, and you hear that call. That is personally not a gift that I hold, but I hear and feel the land awakening energetic frequencies that sends out specific vibrations. Also, this is about connecting into the root races again, of which Bridget is connected to. So there's so much beauty activating in the Albion and in Ireland. The emerald crystal heart of the Hill of Terra is activated, I should say. Now, I want to share with you what has happened since the hijacking. And this is just going to, I think, really show you and display the difference. So there are many that carry these codes of the witch, of the healer, of the warrior, these essences that have been totally, absolutely distorted. I can tell you right now, what I'm about to show you, and you'll see what I'm saying, is truly the distortion and inversion that has ruined so many aspects in this world. And since the hijacking, what has happened to Ireland? See, that makes my heart hurt. Now, it's not just Ireland, it's the entire Albion. What has happened there? Words can't even portray the grief that I feel for this distortion that has taken place. So I'm going to show you an image here, and this poor girl, and many actually, these pure beings who have been trapped and enslaved in these satanic vibrations and frequencies, is, I think, the most horrible things that this vile race of beings have done. The list is so long, it's really hard to say what is the worst, because it's all just disgusting. But this is what happens when one channels the wrong kind of truths. This that I'm going to show you is not Ireland. So what I want you to think of as the original Druids, the witches, the origin of Éowyn, that primordial spiritual mother of the original Tua, and the true spirit, I would say, that we all should hold in our sacred emerald crystal hearts for Ira, for Ireland, is thinking about this image here. So this is Éowyn. This is the spiritual mother. Do you see the song of the vibrations of the true crystal heart, of the crystal architecture, of so much? And then there's this. And this just happened recently. So before I put up of this image, I just want to share. Okay, so I saw a video, and this person is going by Bambi Thug. Now, I have never, this really gets me. I saw a video. Don't ever listen, I should say. I watched a video. I didn't listen to what this person was saying, because in these kinds of frequencies is so much of the energetic distortion. And so you get what I'm saying here. This is what pop music is today. It's sending out frequencies to really hijack consciousness, right? Okay, here's this. Now look at these two next to each other. This Bambi Thug is pure satanic insanity. Now she feels that there's nothing at all satanic about this. That is the most insane thing that I've heard. I actually heard those words come out of her mouth. Now, she represented Ireland in some Eurovision song competition. Now, in this specific video and song, it actually totally displayed a demonic possession takeover. Now, just take a moment. See the difference in Ireland? Representing Ireland, you have Goddess Spiritual Mother Éowyn, and then you have this. This is what happens when someone has severe trauma. The hijackers take over, they invert and distort the true form of the cosmic mother energy. For this Bambi Thug person, actually calls herself pagan, etc. She actually says she's tapping into this quote-unquote distorted version of what a witch means. Witch does not mean that, by the way. See what I'm saying here? This truly is disgusting. The true and real Druids, the real lineages of Albion and Ireland, did not worship some fake god or anything demonic. All of that demonic and satanic takeover, this is the Luciferian frequency, right? This is what we have and we are dealing with today, still, due to the invasions. Do you see how profound this is and the lasting impact that these horrific wars have had on angelic human race? And this once angelic-like realm? See, this is the inverted version of everything that original creation does not stand for. And I actually read an article about this Bambi person, and she really opened up. Now, she actually is channeling this distorted, inverted frequency, doesn't consciously, potentially, even get it. And she just thinks she's an artist and she's just expressing herself. But she's expressing trauma. And this is what these hijackers have created. Unnecessary trauma, unnecessary suffering. That is a truth that we just have to know. There's an article that I read. She said that she has had experiences, multiple, of sexual assault in her life. And she told this on a late show as well. She's 29. So she represented Ireland in these Eurovision semifinals. This is why I know that knowing origin, knowing original creation, it is just so imperative. We need to see, know, and hear the truth and speak it more and more out there with hopes that these waves and ripples of original creation magic will vibrate into people like this woman going by the name of Bambi. It's not just an act, it's trauma. So let us open the sacred crystal heart vibrations of Ireland, of Ira, and see and envision that vibration is going through the lands and into beings so that they can truly see the distortions that they hold and learn to let them go. And by the way, all of this primordial wisdom story keeping on the original creation is what brought through in the true organic eightfold sun calendar workshops. And then we connect into the true organic energy, because it's about that connection without distortions and inversions. So I hope you can join in on them and connect back into primordial truths to see through the inversions and lies with us, truly building that sacred circle again. So I hope that this helps you to awaken more of your magic and helps us together to remember original creation magic once again. Let's awaken the magic together. Subscribe to get more videos that are meant to illuminate the path for indigos, starseeds, and all humans who are here with sacred missions that are serving as the pioneers in this massive paradigm shift of consciousness. Thank you for being here at this time and for watching this video, and please share it with like-hearted people. Thank you.